How's it going, everybody? Shaun Allen here. Welcome to this very special update from Universal Studios Hollywood. In this video, I will be focusing mostly, in fact entirely, about Halloween Horror Nights 2018. Universal so far has announced 3 new mazes for this year's Halloween Horror Nights. More will be coming down the road, so stay tuned for more updates. By the way, I hope you guys have enjoyed my weekly updates from Universal Studios. In my previous update, I didn't really mention anything about Halloween Horror Nights because I wanted it to be in its own separate video. My goal is to have at least one whole video about Halloween Horror Nights each month. Yes, I may incorporate little bits here and there in my weekly updates, but I want to have at least one whole video about Halloween Horror Nights. So let's go ahead and get started with this month's update about Halloween Horror Nights. By the way, just letting you know ahead of time, I will be inserting clips from last year's Halloween Horror Nights. So if you guys have young children or do not like scary images, then be prepared because they're coming. Let's talk about the first maze. It's right next to Waterworld. In fact, it's in the queue area for Waterworld. It is still unclear as to what this maze is going to be, but as you can see, progress has been made in the construction of this maze. Currently, Waterworld is still up and running, even though it has the walls around the queue. They just have a separate area where people line up. So don't worry, Waterworld is still open during the Halloween Horror Nights construction. If you remember from last year, this was the same location for Titans of Terror, where you got to meet Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface. As we head past Waterworld and towards Universal Plaza, we can pretty much bet that there will be a scare zone in this location. Last year, this was Halloween. Scary trick-or-treaters were out scaring people as well as a bunch of stilt walkers. Again, it is unclear as to whether this will be a scare zone or not, but I'm pretty sure it will be. Very recently, the Universal Plaza opened its doors once again to the public, with a whole new character meet and greet as well as a restaurant and patio area. If you remember from last year, this was the location of the first part of Horrors of Blumhouse. It featured The Purge. It's unclear as to whether this will be a queue area for Halloween Horror Nights because directly across from Universal Plaza is another maze that's being built right now. As we can see from the detail work on this maze, it looks pretty dang cool. Yes, even though it's made out of plywood and styrofoam and paint, it looks pretty cool. It is still unclear as to what this maze will be. However, rumors are flying around that this might be a maze where you might be able to see the classic Universal monsters. If you remember from many years ago, there used to be a year-round attraction called House of Horrors where it had the same premise. If they actually did something like this again, that would be awesome. Currently, Universal still has the Walking Dead attraction, which was the replacement for House of Horrors. And like last year and the last previous years, yes, this will be opened during Halloween Horror Nights. However, the exterior portion of the attraction may have a facelift because this helicopter might be leaving us, because they're tearing down the Globe Theater at this time, and part of the structure is holding up this helicopter. So, we may not see this helicopter this year during Halloween Horror Nights. As you can see, the destruction of the Globe Theater is evident, and it is sad to see this go, and I did actually have a couple experiences inside the Globe Theater because I am an employee here. So it is sad to see it go, but who knows what's going to be put in its place in the future. Directly across from the Globe Theater is the Despicable Me Minion Mayhem attraction, and as far as I know, this will not be open during Halloween Horror Nights. Very recently, Universal Studios Hollywood opened up the DreamWorks Theater featuring Kung Fu Panda Adventure, and as far as I know, this will not be open during Halloween Horror Nights as well. Since I work at this location, I have been getting a lot of questions. Will the Wizarding World of Harry Potter be open during Halloween Horror Nights? The simple answer is no. There are explanations as to why, and I can't go into full detail, but I can say a couple things. Licensing and ticket prices. If they did have the Wizarding World open during Halloween Horror Nights, which is an entire land, ticket prices might skyrocket. It would be kind of cool to see them celebrate it maybe during the morning, afternoon hours, but even with that, it is still unclear. They do celebrate Christmas though, so if you want to experience the Wizarding World at Christmas time, come back during December. You'll even get to see a special projection show at the Hogwarts Castle. Let's now talk about the Universal Studio Tour. Will that be getting a Terror Tram this year? I'll explain more about that a little bit later in the video. Looking towards the backlot, we can see evidence of 2 out of the 3 mazes being built on the backlot. The location I'm showing you right now was where Saw was last year. It is still unclear as to what this maze will be. That midsection right there is where the former Ash vs. Evil Dead maze used to be. In fact, that was the maze that I worked at when I first started working at Universal Studios. And by the way, there's the Universal Studio Tour. Again, I will talk about the studio tour in a little bit because there's some information I would like to share with you guys about that. There's one more maze that is just below the King Kong 360 3D attraction, and that was where American Horror Story was last year. So very recently, we got a big announcement that a new maze is being built right there in the backlot. And that is the first Purge. And guess where that attraction is gonna be? Right in the same spot where the Ash vs. Evil Dead maze was located. In my opinion, that's both good and bad. First of all, the Purge is a very popular franchise, but it seems rather small. Wouldn't you agree? Because the Purge, if you remember from last year, was a huge set. It mostly took place during Purge election year, the 3rd film of the series, and it was a really good section in the maze for Horrors of Blumhouse. For it to be located on the backlot, especially in a very small location, I don't know. I have my doubts about this one, but as time goes along, we'll see what happens with this maze. Before I forget, let's talk about the Terror Tram. Will we be getting a Terror Tram this year? It's still debatable since last year's Terror Tram wasn't as successful as folks wanted it to be. Because if you remember, last year it was called the Titans of Terror Tram. Now, there was a maze last year that had a similar title called Titans of Terror, but it didn't involve the Terror Tram. So having 2 mazes with the exact same name, but just with a different theme and a different location, didn't quite work. And it seemed like the Terror Tram last year was a bit rushed. So as of right now, all I can say is that we may be getting a Terror Tram this year. It's just questionable as to what it will be. Another question I've been getting is, will Springfield be open during Halloween Horror Nights? Of course it will be, and so will the Simpsons ride. In fact, they even played the Treehouse of Horror soundtracks. And let me just state that I absolutely love the Treehouse of Horrors cartoons. They are pretty funny. And like I stated a few seconds ago, the Simpsons ride will be open during Halloween Horror Nights as it has been for the last several years. Heading towards the lower lot, we can see the Revenge of the Mummy attraction. And what is that right there? That is right, folks. That is a maze for Halloween Horror Nights. Last year, this was The Shining. And I will say this, The Shining was an amazing attraction. You can see in the close-up there was a little bit of detail work going on in the maze, and even the facade is being built right there. Rumors are saying that this might be Trick or Treat. We will see. As we enter the lower lot, we know that there are 3 different attractions here: Jurassic Park, the Revenge of the Mummy attraction, and Transformers The Ride 3D. Sadly, Jurassic Park River Adventure will not be open during Halloween Horror Nights, because right now it is scheduled to be closed during Halloween Horror Nights to be revamped and rethemed to Jurassic World. As you can see, this is a queue area for Jurassic Park. This is also a location where they would build the mazes for Halloween Horror Nights. And as you can probably guess, they will not be building any mazes back here this year because it will be closed. Last year, this was the home of Insidious, which was actually a pretty good maze. I was impressed by it. So unfortunately for this year, we will not be getting Jurassic Park in the dark. It will probably be Jurassic World in the dark next year. The only attractions that will be open during Halloween Horror Nights will be Revenge of the Mummy and Transformers The Ride 3D. As we get closer to the Transformers, we'll have 2 different options. We can either take a pathway to the left to experience Stranger Things, which will be housed in Soundstage 29, or we can take a sharp right and head towards the backlot. If you remember, this was the pathway that led towards The Shining, Toxic Tunnel, Urban Inferno, and the other 3 mazes: Ash vs. Evil Dead, Saw, and American Horror Story. If you remember from last year, the stairway had a very funny safety spiel as guests went up and down the escalators between the upper lot and the lower lot. I really hope it comes back again this year because it was actually pretty funny. And last but certainly not least, we need to answer this one question. Will there be a live show at this year's Halloween Horror Nights? If you're big fans of Bill and Ted, you may remember the Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure shows, which lasted for several years. Lately, it has been the Jabberwocky show, but it's questionable as to whether they will be returning this year. There are rumors that they are planning a new live-action show in case the Jabberwockies don't return, but we will see. More details to come. And that is it for the July 2018 update for Halloween Horror Nights. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up button. It is greatly appreciated. Be sure to check out my weekly updates from Universal Studios Hollywood. At the end of this video, you'll see a very special playlist of all my weekly updates. Also, check out my other channels, the Educational Series, the Disneyland Video Series, and the Travel Town Series. I'm also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Again, thank you so much for watching. End scene, and as they say in Hollywood, that, my friends, is a wrap.